I challenged myself to beat every Left 4 Dead campaign on Expert in the Last Man on Earth mutation. Just me, no allies, and only special infected facing my path. Plus, crowning every witch I come across because I'm a masochist. I already showed my journey in detail across 2 awesome story mode type videos, which you should definitely check out. Today, we're gonna Kowalski this challenge and
analysis.
What were the biggest lessons learned? Which campaigns and enemies gave me the hardest time? And what were the standout moments, like clutch gameplay, hilarious fails, or never before seen glitches? Here's the conclusion of my Last Man on Earth Expert Challenge. First up, I want to give you my 5 biggest lessons I learned tackling this thing. First lesson, speed is key. The longer you take, the more special infected spawns there will be. If the zombies can't catch you, they're running for a while and preventing more from spawning. You keep running and you encounter far fewer infected. You'll find what you need as you run through the level. No need to move too far outside the main path, just keep going. Number 2, don't fight the tanks. Speed is key, and that's especially with the toughest enemy. It's almost never worth it to fight the tanks. Yes, you can Molotov him and run, but sometimes keeping him alive is more beneficial, as while he's alive, fewer special infected spawn. Juke him, and honestly, he'll never catch up to you, and then you're good. Number 3, special infected spawn in 3s. This is good for pacing. If a smoker spawns, sometimes it's worth it to just hunker down and hide and wait for him to come to you. Remember that there are 3, and then once you've killed them all, you just move on, and it'll be a bit till they respawn. Number 4, adrenaline over pain pills. Seriously, I didn't know this before going into the challenge, but yeah, there's really not many scenarios where pain pills are gonna help you. Your health is almost never like in the yellow or the red where pain pills will just, give you a boost. Instead, you're either good health or you're in the black and white and you need to heal. And very often, if you're in the black and white, you're in the middle of a tense situation and speed is key. Adrenaline gives you that speed boost to heal. And oh man, I use that strat so many times. And then as well, you got a couple campaigns like Swamp Fever and Hard Rain where adrenaline is absolutely key to survival. And finally, number 5, and maybe the hardest lesson of all, RNG is unavoidable. No matter what, sometimes your run is doomed from the jump. Bad tank spawns, extra witch spawns, AI director keeps throwing smokers at you instead of like spitters or something. Sometimes the AI will be really smart and then other times they won't be. RNG, it just happens. You can get as good as you want with tons of practice, but at the end of the day, your biggest threat is how much the AI director wants you to suffer. And those are my biggest takeaways from this challenge. If you've never attempted this mutation on Expert, follow those tips and you'll already be off to a great start. But what is this mutation mainly about? The special infected. And here's how I stacked up against all of them. From easiest to hardest, I added up all my kills, deaths, and incapacitations, creating a KDI ratio for each of the enemies I faced. I also have some interesting takeaways for how I faced them, or how they behaved. At the bottom, to no one's surprise, is the Spitter. Yeah, Spitter only killed me once, and it was total luck, and she needed to have the tank help her out with that, but other than that, yeah, the Spitters are almost never a threat. Honestly, keep Spitters alive if you can, because then one less special infected to spawn. They're just a nuisance, nothing much. And then next up, Common infected. What? They're not supposed to spawn in this mutation. Yeah, well, they do, in 4 chapters specifically. Dead Air chapter 4, twice in that one. Blood Harvest chapters 3 and 4, and then Coldstream chapter 1. I don't know why, but they do. The only death I ever had was from the one in Coldstream because I had never played Coldstream before on Expert Last Man on Earth, so I didn't know Common Infected would spawn then. But off camera, oh boy, Dead Air and Blood Harvest gave me trouble because I wasn't aware. But going into it a second time, I was aware and I never got killed. So yeah, Common Infected. Well done. Next up, a special infected that at times was maybe a little challenging, but mostly hilarious, the Charger. I had a nice KDI ratio of 13.85. That's pretty dang good. And yeah, I mean, Chargers, I don't know what is up with them. Whether they're giving up on killing me and just decide to give me the dub, or just idiotically charging into walls and just barriers or yeeting themselves off cliffs. I don't know what is up with them. They're goofy as hell, they make me laugh, and they're not that difficult. You know, once one charges, keep him alive. Why not? He's not really going to catch up to you, so. All right, the next one surprised me because usually they give me a lot of trouble, but in this mutation, I actually was able to clutch it out a lot with the Jockey. Now, usually these guys are really hard for me to melee, but, fun fact, I actually had over 50% accuracy. I counted up every time I ran into a Jockey and I had the opportunity to melee them. I ended up successfully stopping them 13 times, and then I missed 10 times. So I'm actually a little better than I gave myself credit for. But yeah, I think practice makes perfect. I think just over more times encountering Jockeys, I'll just get better and better at meleeing them, because initially, I don't know, just something about the timing of it's just weird. Okay, now we're gonna get a jump up because this one had a KDI of 6.25, so they were a little bit more challenging, and that would be the Witch. So I don't think the Witch would actually be that big of a deal if I didn't make myself kill every Witch that I ran into, but it did. However, I learned something new from that. They are way more difficult when they're sitting down. If they were sitting down, the Witches actually had a higher KDI of 3.5, which is actually the second highest, sort of. We'll get to it with the higher up special infected, but for now, that is really good. Like, that's like, oh man. So basically, if I run into a Witch, I have sort of a 1 in 3 chance of just not successfully crowning her. But yeah, that's for sitting. For standing, I never got killed by one. I actually had a perfect run of 23-0. And, yeah, I mean, of course, Hard Rain, you got that sugar mill right there. Chapter 2, how many did I kill? 16. I ran into 16 across multiple runs, of course, and none of them ever got me. That was pretty clutch. But other than that, yeah, the Witches, they can be tricky. Sometimes I just didn't get the crowning right. I did learn going up front, not a good idea. That was stupid. But okay, moving on to one that was a little bit more difficult, and I expected it, and he gave me a good one, the Hunter. The Hunter, I am better at meleeing them than I am with the Jockey. I actually have 20 successful melees and then 9 missed melees, so basically 2/3 chance of succeeding. But Hunters are scary, you know, when you hear that growl, they can come from anywhere, and sometimes you're not able to melee in time, and they get you. But the Hunters have a special ability. They, every now and then, decide to stay. And with expert mode, they're pretty much frame perfect clawing. One claw with that amount of health, and you're dead. So if a Hunter pounces you, there is a slight chance you've already lost. And here are the chances. 65% of them ran away. They pounced me and then they jumped away. And I tried to look for, you know, whether it was I was in a tight corridor or if I was in an open area, if that had any factor, and I didn't notice any correlation. So in fact, most of the time, they didn't stay. Then I had 4 that did stay, and I was able to melee them in time, which pretty much every time I was just mashing the left trigger, and I don't know, just somehow was able to get it. And then, well, 3 of them stayed and I wasn't able to stop it. So I had 3 Hunters kill me via just that tactic, which actually covers half of the kills that the Hunters got off of me. It was just them double tapping me like that. But turns out, at least for my challenge in these videos, there's a good chance that they're not gonna stay, and you can still clutch it out. Okay. If you've done the math, that means we have 2 left. Now, it's a little tricky to fully label which of these 2 special infected gave me harder trouble. So I'm going to start with the one that I believe was not as difficult, but technically the numbers point otherwise, and I'll explain why. In second place is the Tank. KD ratio, 29-12, which is a 2.41. That's the most difficult KD ratio across all the special infected. However, I don't know if that's accurate because I actually was able to avoid a ton of tanks. Yeah, in 80 total encounters with tanks, I fought and killed 29 of them, which was actually mostly finales. I only ever decided to fight 6 of them in regular chapters, and very likely a lot of that was because I had to, like the Sacrifice has one. But I outran 31 of them, and that's the highest, 38% of all of my encounters. I just ran around them, I didn't even bother. Pretty cool, and if you include that, you actually end up with a KD ratio of 60-12, where 60 of them were successes, if you will. The other 2 stats that I would include, I did die 12 times, of course, like we know, but 8 of the 80 supposed encounters never happened. They just didn't spawn, because usually there is one per chapter, but sometimes, I don't know, the AI director just spared me for some reason. But okay, that just leaves one last special infected. First place, the most difficult enemy that I encountered, the damn smoker. It's range. I mean, literally, like, the smoker can be anywhere, and when he grabs you, you have like, what, a second and a half to possibly shoot him, and if he's far away, good luck. You either need laser sights or you need a lucky headshot or something, which, you know, I got lucky a lot of times. And what made the smokers extra difficult for, you know, these runs is that I often was holding a shotgun because I had to crown every witch that I saw. Sometimes I was maybe setting myself up a little bit for failure against smokers with that. And I actually was wondering, every time I got grabbed by smoker, was I able to free myself more often than not? And turns out, it was really close. I freed myself 3 more times than I failed to free myself, which is pretty cool, actually. I'm pretty proud of that. And a lot of my favorite clips of this challenge was just clutch smoker saves. And we will go over that, as well as my best tank dodges and a couple other things coming up. But first, we gotta rank these campaigns now. We've already gone through the special infected, and now I gotta talk about where I faced them, because that did play a factor very often. And I was surprised, because I kind of thought, you know, in general, Last Man on Earth, if you're just speedrunning the whole time, then every level kind of feels more or less the same, right? And it's RNG that kind of decides if you're gonna have a hard time, but not necessarily. I ranked each of these campaigns in the other 2 videos from a scale of 1 to 10 on the difficulty scale, and here is where I will rank all of them in order from easiest to hardest. There are 3 campaigns that I gave 2 out of 10s, and I was thinking which one would I label the easiest, and you know, I think the stats don't lie. I will label The Parish as the easiest campaign. Primary reason, I actually went through 2 entire chapters without fighting a single infected. The only other time I did that was Dead Air Chapter 1, and that I just did that on purpose. Like, I ran into Special Infected, but I just was like, I'm gonna see if I can actually beat this without actually killing any of them. But in the Parish, I didn't even try it. Like, I just legit was able to walk through. I didn't see a single zombie in the bridge finale. I don't know what was up with that. I don't know if the AI director just fell asleep or something, but, you know, my only death was a lucky BS hunter at the end of chapter 3, which that was annoying, but other than that, yeah, it kind of felt like a walk in the park. And I'm not just talking about chapter 2, but yeah, easy campaign. All right, next easiest one, Coldstream. Yeah, Coldstream, my only death was the surprise common infected, but other than that, again, I just felt like there weren't too many spawns, and the tanks, I also didn't encounter many tanks, and if you do encounter tanks in Coldstream, they have their set spawns every single time, so there's no surprise there. Also, no witches, which for my challenge was helpful. Just not a lot of problems, honestly. Coldstream just felt pretty easy. It was just kind of running through everything, no problem. And then the last of the 2 out of 10s, Dead Center. So Dead Center, the only reason I will put it above the previous 2 is because I don't know, I just had a slightly harder time, I guess. I felt like maybe there were a couple more spots where you can get jump scared. Chapter 1, you're stuck using just melee weapon or magnum for a bit. In general, Dead Center is considered the easiest campaign for a lot of reasons, and part of that is the gun store gives you the best gun in the game. You can complete the finale really quickly. I managed to do it without even fighting the tank, and in fact, my only death was some BS wombo combo. So another campaign where I almost beat it without dying once, and that was pretty surprising. Okay, next up, we have The Passing. I gave it a 3 out of 10. So yeah, this campaign, it's on the easier side for sure, but there is potential for frustration in that the chapters are longer than normal chapters. So if you die at the end, like if you fail to crown the bride witch, then you gotta start from the beginning, and it sucks, because, you know, the longer the level, the more opportunity for specials to spawn, and then the finale can be pretty stressful with rushing for the gas cans. You kind of have to do a lot very quickly. With Dead Center, there's a lot less spots for them to grab you, and you also are able to fuel up all at once at the end with the whole verticality and just throwing them off the railing. But the passing, now you kind of have to go all the way around the map and carry them, so that's time consuming. And then we're jumping up a bit to 4 out of 10s now. I had 2 of them, and I decided Crash Course is next. Crash Course, yeah, it's the shortest campaign, only 2 chapters, but they're long chapters, and especially that finale. I seriously don't know why the finale of Crash Course wasn't just made its own chapter, because the build up to it is an entire chapter's length. I mean, that would be like the passing or the sacrifice, but I don't know. Either way, yeah, it really sucks to die in the middle of the finale and then have to do basically an entire chapter and then begin the finale again. Other than that, though, nothing too much, honestly. It's just kind of, you know, RNG will play a factor, but other than that, that's just the way Crash Course goes for you. And then next up, Death Toll. So Death Toll, yeah, I didn't die. That's the only one that I beat without dying, and I think I kind of just clutched it. I don't think it was luck. I don't think it necessarily was that the campaign is built to be easier. I didn't notice a reason. Maybe the locations give me more space to run around the tanks, for example, but I just clutched through pretty much every scenario. Well, every scenario, because I never died. But I don't know, Death Toll, not as hard as I thought it would be. And now we're at 5 out of 10, and I have 2 of them. First up, No Mercy. I do think No Mercy might be a little bit harder just because it was the first one that I did for the challenge, so I was a bit of a newbie at the time when I was doing it, and I had a couple dumb deaths because of that. But yeah, in my experience, it's really just Chapter 2 that'll give you a challenge. I don't know why. Something about the RNG of the tank spawn and waiting for that generator to open the door. In general, not too many tricky spots. You can kind of manage your way through this well. I think in general, it'll just be spawns that kind of decide your difficulty. And then the other 5 out of 10, Swamp Fever. So Swamp Fever, if you don't have adrenaline, then you're making your life harder. But in general, adrenaline allows you to get through the water bits very quickly. You might as well go for it. Yeah, it's a little dark. You can get jump scared every now and then. And then really it's that double tank fight at the end. That's unique. There's only one other campaign where you have to fight an extra tank in the finale. And fighting 2 at once can be tricky. I managed it pretty well, actually. I think the map is built in a way that you are able to kind of kite them. And I got lucky that I didn't really have specials spawn during that fight. I think if you end up with some special spawning while you're trying to manage 2 tanks at once, then yeah, it's going to be really tricky. All right, and now we're skipping past 6 out of 10s. In fact, I have 3 campaigns that I gave 7 out of 10. So already I would say these are the more challenging campaigns. And a few of them have obvious reasons. And then one, I don't know if it's an obvious reason, really. I just had trouble with Dark Carnival. It's a generally considered a more challenging campaign. It's longer, lots of different spots that, you know, specials can come from. I also, in my playthrough, I had a lot of tough tank encounters. They just kept spawning in my way and I could not get around them. So, I don't know. Dark Carnival, good challenge, good fun one. Now, these next 2, I know why I gave them 7 out of 10s, and it's because they both have common infected spawns, and they are worse than the one in Coldstream. First one, I'll say Blood Harvest is the next one. Blood Harvest, you got the 2 spots. Primarily the spot at the end of Chapter 4 can be a real challenge if you don't have a Boomer Bile or Pipe Bomb. That was a intense spot for me. And then in the past, I had a lot of difficulty with the finale because I wasn't bringing fire with me. I mean, really, you just need to be prepared for certain spots. If you don't have a Molotov going into the finale, very often the AI director will screw you over and then you don't get a Molotov spawn. So you're stuck manually killing the tanks instead of burning them and then just kind of keeping your distance. And then again, you know, I think campaigns can be difficult based on if there are spots that Special Infected can pounce from. And Blood Harvest has a couple chapters that provide good cover for them. And then next up, Dead Air. So Chapter 4, you got the 2 common infected spawns, and one of them is a gauntlet, so you have to just run to the safe room. You can't just stay and fight through the horde because they're gonna keep spawning. So if you're not properly prepared for those moments, you're screwed. You are absolutely screwed. The first time I played that chapter and I didn't know common infected would spawn, I never was able to get a Boomer Bile or Pipe Bomb during those runs, and yeah, it was 10 out of 10 difficulty. I was stuck for so long. But other than that, in general, the campaign and like Blood Harvest as well, I think they're kind of more averagey campaigns. It's just those specific reasons that make it more difficult. And now we have 2 campaigns left, and if you saw my previous videos, you already know which order these are in, because one I would give an 8 out of 10, and then the last one was a 9 out of 10. First one, second hardest campaign, The Sacrifice. So I do think part of this is it was my first time playing because a lot of my deaths were Chapter 1 when I had to fight the tank. And I just kind of forgot that I would have to fight that tank, and I never was able to get a Molotov. I had so many deaths just hoping that I could, you know, clutch my way through it without fire, but that was stupid of me. But then I figured out gas cans spawn, so just bring one with you. So now, if I go through that again, theoretically I could just beat it first try, no problem, because I know what to do. And that's where experience plays a factor in this for sure. But aside from that tricky encounter with the tank, the levels are longer, like the passing crash course, so that adds a factor. But as well, like Swamp Fever, you gotta fight 3 tanks in the finale, so just automatically more work for you, more challenge. And then, I think anyone who's done this challenge can agree with me, the hardest campaign that I ran into was Hard Rain. So, Hard Rain is the hardest for multiple reasons. Number 1, water. The finale alone, good luck keeping that tank on that rooftop to burn him and then kite him forever. He's gonna probably fall down and the fire will go out. So in general, you're manually killing every tank in the finale. As well, with the water and the rain in your way throughout the chapters, it's easy to just get caught. You don't know where the special effects are coming from, you can't see, and then they get you. Chapter 2, it's a lengthy chapter. For some reason, I ran into a lot of issues, a lot of spawns kept stopping me, and the surprising thing was the witches weren't an issue. I mean, they probably wouldn't be an issue if I wasn't promising myself to kill every witch that I ran into, but I never got killed by one, so in reality, they were not a factor. But I guess theoretically they could be. You know, maybe during a fight you accidentally shoot one, and then your run is over. But that finale alone really is the primary reason that this is the hardest campaign, because every other campaign, you are able to burn a tank and run, and then you're safe. Just keep your distance, and that's the tactic. Keep running, don't stop. But in Hard Rain, you have to fight, no matter what. And it's such a small little area too. It's so easy to not dodge the rock, and then he gets you. Yeah, Hard Rain, it's a hard pain. But there you go, those are all the campaigns and how I would rank them. Now let's just go through overall stats, y'all. So, I spent a total of 5 hours and 45 minutes beating these campaigns. The longest one was Hard Rain. I spent 46 minutes on that one. And then I actually beat Coldstream and Dead Center in 15 minutes as the shortest campaigns. And that gives an average completion time of 26 minutes per campaign. Total deaths, I had 38 deaths, and fun fact, with the 2 videos previously, I did the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns on the first one, and then the Left 4 Dead 2 campaigns on the second one, and I died 19 times in each of them, so that's pretty even. But that gives us an average campaign deaths of almost 3, so on average I was gonna die almost 3 times per campaign. And of course, to no one's surprise, yeah, I had the most deaths. 21% of all of my deaths were in Hard Rain alone. I had 82 total incapacitations, which gives us an average of 6.3 per campaign. And I guarantee you smokers were responsible for most of those. And of course, Hard Rain, I had the most incapacitations. Almost 19% of them were from Hard Rain alone. Now here's an interesting stat. All the chapters versus ones that I beat without dying in them. And in fact, I beat 65%, basically 2/3 of the chapters that I played. I beat them first try without dying. Pretty cool. And then, like I mentioned before, I actually beat 3 whole chapters without killing a single special infected. Dead Air Chapter 1 and The Parish Chapter 1 and 5. I took a lot of damage. Yeah. Total damage was 11,088. That's big, and that gives us an average of 852 damage per campaign. That's a stat, I guess. There you go. And of course, the most damage was Hard Rain, and then oh wow, it was like 10% of that total damage in Dead Center. That's ridiculous. First aid kits, I used 113. Look at that. Pain pills, I used 18. Adrenaline, I used way more because I figured out adrenaline was key. Pipe bombs, they are only useful a couple of times with the common affected, but I guess I threw them anyway for fun. Molotovs, oh yeah, you're gonna want Molotovs for sure for those tanks. And then bile jars, I threw 5. I think a couple of them were for the common affected. Other times it was just for fun, I guess. I don't know. My accuracy, I was using a shotgun, so my accuracy was a lot better than usual, and it was 47%. That was pretty dang good. And then I didn't really, on purpose, aim for the head unless it was a charger, and then sometimes a smoker if I bothered. But yeah, there you go. All right, it's award time. I'm gonna give out awards for my favorite standout moments of this series. The most clutch play. I had a lot of moments where I was just like, dang, I've never done something like that in Left 4 Dead before, and that was awesome. I was able to beat that Dead Air Chapter 4 gauntlet first try. I didn't even get hit by a single common infected. That was crazy. Especially the one where I took a hit, so then I immediately did the adrenaline, run through the water, I closed the door behind me, and then I was able to heal and then jump through the window. So much going on there. The entire rush to get to the Tunnel of Love in Dark Carnival Chapter 2, I was in the black and white, and then they gave me a witch as well right in front of the save room. And I had that triple special infected kill in the Blood Harvest finale, just constantly going, oh, there he is, and like just never stopping. However, I think my most clutch play was that Blood Harvest Horde in Chapter 4. I had the tank chasing after me, I had no pills or adrenaline, no pipe bomb or nothing, I had a shotgun, and I was low on health, and then the Horde was in front of me, and I just had to go through it, and I perfectly went through that Horde. Never got hit once, and in fact, if you slow it down, I reloaded just a few more shells right before the rest of the Horde attacked me, and I used every last one to get through them. Amazing. That was so just like exhilarating. So I was clutch very often, but I also made mistakes. Yeah, so the award for worst mistake. I mean, you do have some classic ones. The tank punching me on the car, I should have known better. The Charger coming back to me in the shack in hard rain, that was just embarrassing. I just handed him the dub. I fell off the railing in Death Toll Chapter 2. I mean, this one wasn't as bad because I ended up clutching it and winning, but realistically, if I had died during that, that probably would have been number one. And then I do think I just made a mistake in that surprise fail with the common infected attack in Coldstream, because I could have just made it. Like, if I hadn't really tried to stop to handle each common infected, I was just flustered. But honestly, my biggest mistake was going up to the witch in the front twice in Swamp Fever. Like, I think I already knew you got to go up behind her, but I did it twice. Like, that was just so stupid of me. 2 of my deaths were just idiocy. But okay, we got the best stuff that I did and then the worst stuff that I did. But also, a lot of times, luck plays a factor, and luck can be helpful or unhelpful. First up, the luckiest save. I had some lucky saves every now and then. I escaped that triple fight in the black and white in the Sacrifice Chapter 2. I mean, part of that was clutch, but I also think just like, they just stopped attacking me for some reason. I don't know. The tank not hitting me in the Hard Rain finale there, that, well, like, what? He could have ended the war, but I don't really think I juked him. I think just he didn't hit me for some reason. That was odd. But I mean, come on, y'all. It's escaping the Dead Center finale. That is clutch, but it's kind of mostly just luck of where the tank spawned, when he got up to me, and the speed that I was fueling. But like, pitch perfect, you know, down to the frame. He couldn't reach me in time, and I beat the whole campaign. That was amazing. All right, now the unlucky stuff. My biggest bullshit moment. So I had some bullshit. We got the Hunter Claw on me, my only death in the parish. That was so, like, if he had pounced me, there would have been a better shot. But instead he was like, wait, I don't need to pounce. I'm just gonna claw him like twice and it's over. God, that sucked. The Spitter killing me in Hard Rain. God, I said keep the spitters alive, but I don't know. Maybe sometimes they'll come back to bite you in the ass. And then the tank, and the tank gave me so many BS moments. I have his rock hitting me in Dark Carnival Chapter 4 right there. How did that hit me? That's bullshit. We got the rock hitting me through the boat in the Sacrifice. Really? Through the boat. Bullshit. But then, even worse, the Hard Rain finale. Please tell me how that rock went through that thing and hit me. That is bullshit. That's the biggest bullshit moment. Okay, Left 4 Dead is also filled with wonderful glitches, and I actually discovered some new ones. The best glitch that I found, well, I mean, let's see. We have the tank and the train car in the Sacrifice. I think that's really cool. I know that some people were aware of that, but I wasn't, so it's cool that if you just run back as soon as you open that door, the tank doesn't come out. That's pretty cool. Then, it's happened to me a couple of times, and it happened, I think, twice throughout these streams, but sometimes the smoker will grab you, but you, like, get stuck on an object, and he just kind of lets you go. You just get to leave. It's pretty cool. And then we also have a smoker getting me through the tanker, or at least trying to get me through the tanker in Coldstream. So, like, he can just do it through there. That's weird. Huh. But I do think the best one, because it paid off, I got the tank frozen in the Sacrifice. Literally right after I had him frozen in the train car, he just got stuck on the boat there. I wonder if I can recreate that, because, wow, like, he just froze up. It was just free kill. Awesome. But aside from glitches, sometimes things happen in Left 4 Dead that maybe you could say is a glitch, or what I like to call it, an oddity. What was the best oddity I ran into? We got the Charger being my ally. I don't know why. Maybe he wanted to bridge the gap, like, because often the Chargers want to create distance so then they can charge you. For some reason, they think they can't charge you if they're right up against you, but then as well, they can smack you, and they do a lot of damage when they smack you. So I don't know why the Charger ran away. That's an oddity. The jockey spawning in the safe room. That's, I mean, I guess that's a fail in the AI director, but okay, cool, free kill. I literally witnessed the hunter spawn in Swamp Fever behind that little wooden beam. Close enough, he can't see me. Boop, spawn in. Nah, dude, I saw it happen. Then we got the witch on the porta potty in hard rain. I had never seen that before. I didn't know she could get up there. She can't get down from there, I don't think. So she's just stuck on there. Huh. But my favorite oddity, and the funniest one probably, the smoker trying to go to the bathroom twice in dead air. I guess because he wants to break down the door to reach me is his reasoning, but I'm already past the spot where he's trying to go to, but he's already committed. I don't know, but it happened twice. So it was like meant to be. I don't know. Funny. Speaking of funny, what was just the funniest moment, right? Like something that doesn't even fit into a glitch or an oddity, just straight up, just funny shit, okay? I managed to pipe bomb a tank in Dark Carnival. I mean, it takes so long for that pipe bomb to go off, but the tank decided to just stand there and throw a rock right at the perfect time. I hit him with a pipe bomb. What a little bitch. Got the tank jump scaring me in the hard rain finale. I just think that legitimately made me scream. That was just I also gave up in the middle of hard rain for an old fashioned, just from the stupidest shit ever of like out of nowhere that jockey got me right after I managed to clutch out that hunter pounce. Yeah, just then, oh my god, my cat trying to stop me, and instead I beat the entire challenge driving one hand and filming him. Like, just that's something you can't plan. Just cats, oh my god. But I think the funniest moment is watching those special infected jump into the water in Swamp Fever. Like, I know they do that, but the fact that multiple did it back to back, and the way the charger just went and like just flung away. Like, why does the ragdoll physics act like that when he touches water? Why don't they drown? I don't know why, but it's amazing and hilarious. All right, now, you know, we've been talking about funny moments. We've talked about how good I was at stuff, but, you know, sometimes the infected just had a good play. So, what were the best special infected plays? This was the smartest charger I ever ran into. Chargers were dumb as hell usually, but nah, this one just clutched it out. He put the team on his back and he got me. Then we got the smartest smoker ever getting me 3 times. Maybe part of that was my fault for not hunting him down, but nah, dude, he managed to cap me 3 separate times in the Crash Course finale. What a genius. And then you already knew it was going to be a wombo combo, and I actually was wombo comboed 3 times throughout the campaigns. Now, if you don't know, I'm calling a wombo combo when 2 different special infected, at least 2, double team you, where you just never get a chance to do anything, because theoretically, with multiple pouncing infected, let's say you get grabbed by one, if there's another one, they can sometimes get you before you even regain control of your character, and it's already Jover. And these were the ones that stood out to me. I had Dark Carnival Chapter 3. I got triple special infected wombo comboed actually in this one, so maybe that's why it's not first place, because it actually took 3 to wombo combo me. Then we have the small boys wombo comboing me, giving me my only death in dead center. Perfect timing on their parts. But the best wombo combo was Dead Air Chapter 3. The just perfection of the tank hitting me right in the perfect spot for the charger to immediately charge me. And then, before he's even done, the tank has already charged up his rock throw. And then the charger yeets himself out of the way perfectly in time with that rock hitting me. Just perfection. Good. Well done, special infected. You won that one. However, the AI are silly in Left 4 Dead 2, and these are my favorite silly special infected. We got that spitter running away from me after I told her to in the passing Chapter 2. Just funny timing there. We have the hunter giving up on the bridge in Coldstream. I don't know, like, I guess he just got tired, sure. Got the tank not punching me for some reason. He ran all the way up to me just to be like, oh, let me let you heal, bro. And then the tank, he actually wasn't even aiming for me there. Like, he just threw the rock right into the wall. What an idiot. But the funniest, silliest infected was this stupid jockey on the passing. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he had performance anxiety or if he had a sprained ankle and he was just having trouble jumping over things. But yeah, dude was weird and silly. But the silliest and dumbest infected was the charger. Oh my god, I could have an entire compilation of just charger moments from this series, and it would be several minutes long. Here are just some of my favorites. We got the charger slamming into the truck in Crash Course. That made me laugh my ass off when it first happened. Multiple times the charger could have got me in perfect paths, but decided to just charge into a railing or some kind of thing that's like, dude, there's an object in your way. You kind of can't charge through that. In the parish, he actually could have grabbed me here, and then it would have been Jover because of the witch, clutch, but he didn't. He just missed. I don't know what was up with him. Then we also had the Charger deciding to not end the war with this wombo combo. The Smoker got me because he distracted him, and then he didn't clutch it. That was dumb of him. He 300'd himself into the hole in Swamp Fever. That was good. But I do think the dumbest Charger was this one in Death Toll Chapter 5. So he charges in, then he's bashing me. He decides to run away, but he doesn't run away far enough. And he just stands there while I shoot his exposed arm. He just stands there and lets it happen. He just broke. I don't know what happened, but that was the dumbest Charger. And then, if you're gonna be doing Last Man on Earth, you gotta get good at saving yourself from smokers, and here were my best smoker saves. We got switching from my med kit and the Blood Harvest triple special infected extravaganza. We got a close-up shotgun blast and No Mercy. That was clutch mode. Another sudden turn, just perfect blast, just like basically dumb luck in Coldstream. There was the roof ambush in Dark Carnival. Man, was that a close call. But wow. This sudden turnaround, perfect blast in Swamp Fever. Just like, could not have been a better aim. I don't know how I nailed that, but dang, that was just so clutch. And finally, the true thing that you gotta get good at if you're gonna do this challenge, dodging tanks. Here are my best tank dodges. I had a simple just walk past him in Dark Carnival. I don't know, I just timed it. I'm like, he's not gonna hit me. I just walked past him. That's hilarious. Then the boxes jump in dead center. This was cool. Literally, like, I was like, I'm in like the worst spot. There's no way to run around him. All these boxes, that'll give me height. Maybe I can jump, I don't know. And it did, it worked, amazing. And then we have an incredible ankle break in Dark Carnival. I actually had a good amount of great tank dodges in Dark Carnival, but man, these ankle breaks are just, oof. And then a second tank juke in the Sacrifice Chapter 3, where I was running away from one, and then, oh my god, there's the second one, and I immediately backed up and then jumped over that railing. Like, that was a perfect example where I just know the map so well that I know immediately where to go if I can't go that way. And yeah, dang. But this car dodge in the Crash Course finale, this was amazing because I kind of knew what I was trying to do, but I still like didn't actually believe it was gonna work. But it did. I coaxed the tank into hitting the car and moving at just the right time where I knew the car wouldn't be headed in my direction, and the tank takes a second to recharge his swing, so that's enough for me to get past him. And then the cherry on top, immediately when I turned around, I went bang bang and he died, and that was it. Whew, we went through a lot in this video, and man was it a journey. I'll say, this challenge was incredible to tackle, but it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be. And I think it's because I learned a lot throughout it. I learned how the AI behave, how I knew more than I thought. Honestly, I encourage you to take on this challenge yourself. Like many things in life, it can seem really hard at first, but hunker down, practice until you're perfect, and you'll realize you too can beat every campaign on Expert Last Man on Earth. Thank you for watching this series, and comment the next challenge I should tackle. I'm considering going through every campaign on Expert with bots. I've never done that before. I'm sure the bots will be very helpful and never hold me back. Subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.